is Rachel again. My first video that I made was about my abusive boyfriend that I had when I was 15. And in that video, I mentioned a grade school bully that I had that kind of led me towards being okay with the experience of having an abusive boyfriend. Not like okay with it, but like being like not retaliating. So I am going to tell the story of that bully now. If you want to watch the other video that I made about my abuser, I'll link it below. It's a little bit graphic, and if you're triggered by sexual abuse content, I wouldn't suggest watching it. I had this bully. I met her initially in preschool, so when I was like 5. And I was around her or sort of like friends with her until high school. So when I was like 13 or 14. I'm telling this story because I want to provide solidarity for other people. So I want to, like, for other people that have had similar experiences with bullies, like, I don't want them to, like, feel alone. I want them to feel like there's someone else that went through the same thing, or, you know, that sort of thing. I want to also point out that this story is based only on facts. There is no speculations in this story. I don't remember everything from my childhood. Like, I blocked some of it out mentally, as like a protective mechanism. So some of these accounts are from my memory. Some of them are from my mother, and some of them are from one of my friends named Hannah, who I was close to during those ages, and who remembers me being friends with this person. So I lived in and still live in a small town where we all went to like the same school for many years. So like some kids would like come and some kids would go, but like there was like a main group of kids in the school for many years. And that is important because like there were the same friend groups and cliques for many years. So right off the bat, like in preschool, this particular friend and I, the bully and I, like bonded naturally because we literally live like 2 doors down from each other. So our moms and I figured that out quickly, and so like I would go over to her house or she would come over to mine, and we would spend a lot of time together. I did have like other friends and other best friends. Like I remember in particular I had this one best friend like in kindergarten until like second grade. But he moved away. So I remember like the worst of the bullying being from like elementary school until like middle school, and especially in middle school it was like that was the worst of it, I think. um so um so I'm gonna kind of describe what she did on sort of like a spectrum of like the most mild things she did, I guess, to the most extreme things she did. So one thing that I remember her doing the most was like isolating her and I from other people. So like this would especially happen at lunch, like at school, obviously. So at lunch we would sit alone, or in gym class, we would go off alone at recess. Um, on the school bus, we would sit together. Um, we would sit together in class, that kind of thing. And I began to like need this attention from her, and she was like taking all the attention from me as well. It was like a coexisting relationship. Um, and then another thing that she would do was that she would speak over me a lot, like not only in conversations, but I especially remember it bothering me, like especially like in class. Like if the so this is what really bothered me is like if the teacher would call on me, like if I had raised my hand and the teacher would call on me, and then I would start to say something, the bully would start to talk over me as if she had like a better answer, or as if like I did not have the answer. And so this is where um, my other friend Hannah stepped in. And this is this part's kind of sad because the teachers like never realized what was going on. Um like they would never be like they would never tell the bully to stop, um or not to talk over me. Um or if they did, I don't remember it, or they gave up on it. But Hannah um would like she would be like, no, like Rachel has something to say, like let Rachel speak. um and so like that was important to me, like that stuck with me for a long time. And that's initially why I reached out to Hannah, because like I was like, as much as the bully affected me, I told her like that really meant a lot to me. Like that you did that. Like, you were the only one that ever stood up for me, and like just that little thing that you did, like that meant a lot to me. Um and then so another thing that the bully did was like she would make fun of my appearance. Um so I remember like I always had to have glasses when I'm supposed to be wearing them now, but I always had to have glasses. Like I have a lazy eye. And like she would make fun of the glasses. She would like make fun of my nose. Like she would be like, your nostrils flare a lot. And then like when I would breathe, she would just smile at me and like go like this and like make me be like super self-conscious just about like the most normal human action that a person could have. Like, can you even imagine? And like, um, so when I got my nose ring, and people were like, "Oh, like big nose rings are supposed to make your nostrils look bigger." I was like, "Well, screw that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna have the biggest nose ring I want to have." Um, but she would also be like, "Why do you always wear your hair down? Like, why is it always so long?" Like, I think she didn't want me to have as long of hair as she did. And I would be like, "Oh, because it keeps me warm in the winter," or something like that. And she started to be like, "And don't say it like keeps you warm in the winter." But like that was just part of me. Like it was my long hair. Like I liked my long hair. Um then another thing that she would do would be that she would like violate my personal space. So she would like essentially like touch me when I didn't want to be touched. So like a specific example of this was that like I remember us sitting on the bus like across from each other, and so I was sitting on the edge of the seat and I had my legs crossed like this, and she kept reaching over and pushing down on my toe and going flush, 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 like that. And like that made me feel really self-conscious. Just like I don't know, it was like a stupid thing, but um like it made me feel self-conscious, and she was in my personal space, you know? And like I don't know, like just that small thing like pushed me to the point of tears, you know? Um and so then I remember um like myself, I remember two specific times when she actually beat me, like when she actually hurt me physically. So the first time I remember that we were both at my house, and we had balloons, and she was like, I mean, you know how like balloons are rubbery and you can like snap them like a rubber band. And so she was snapping them, and she was like snapping them like really close to my face, and then and like trying to scare me, I think. And then one of the times she like happened to like get me in the face, and she caused like a big welt on my lip, and my mother was so mad, like Mama Bear came out. So that was one of the times. Like, I don't think my mom knew that, like, the bully, like, um, like, beat me more than once. but when she saw that she did, that, like, really, obviously really made her angry. And then another time that I remember the bully specifically beating me, like, actually beating me, was like we were on the school bus, and and she made up this game, and I think she called it like Mercy or something, and she said that, like, we, like, would hit each other on the leg, and whoever said it was like too painful first lost the game. So we kept slapping each other on the leg. So, like, she was like beating me on the leg, and like I was like obviously beating her too, like slapping her on the leg too. Um, but you know, like, she was kind of disguising her beating me, like, as a game. Um, and that's the thing. She would, like, always kind of like do these things and like either try to disguise them, or she would do it when, like, no one else was around, like when no one could, like, reprimand her, or see her, like, on the bus, or like during gym or recess, like that kind of thing. um and like, she would do things like call me a bitch, and like, um you know, my mom, um also, like, my mom remembers me coming home crying, like, pretty much every day because of it. Um, and Hannah. So when I initially reached out to Hannah, like, and I said, like, thank you to her, and I have a blog. So I wrote about this whole experience on my blog as well. And she asked me, like, it was like really bothering her, like, who the bully was, and like, she felt like someone should have done something. And so I told her who the bully was, and I said, like I said before, like, you did do something. You're the only person that ever stood up for me, like, besides my parents. And then when I told her who it was really interesting, because she actually said that she remembered a couple of events too, that I did not remember whatsoever. Like, she said that she remembers me being upset a lot at school and not knowing why. And then she also remembers, at one of my birthday parties, I had a lot of sleepovers for birthday parties, and she remembers the bully taking my toys that I had gotten for my birthday almost immediately, and like taking them away from me and playing with them. And then she also remembers at this birthday party, she remembers the bully like wrestling with me inside the sleeping bags. So like obviously, like as I said, I don't remember this like whatsoever at all. Like I vaguely remember like some of my slumber parties not going well. Um, but this is another time when Hannah really stood up for me because like I feel like Hannah really has like a very strong sense of when something isn't right. Like she has a very strong sense of justice. And so even from like such a young age, like when I was still having slumber parties, she was like, that is not right. And so she like told Julie off, like, do not do that. And she told the bully off, like, do not do that. And she made her cry. Um, and and so like it's interesting now because I have like I have a very strong fear of like entertaining, if that makes sense. So like for an example, my mom suggested that we have like a party when I graduated college. Um, and she like suggested that we invite some college friends and like some of my professors that I really liked. And like in theory, like obviously that sounds like a really good idea. But like a wave of anxiety came over me and I was like so scared and upset. And I didn't know why. But like thinking back on those slumber parties, it suddenly makes sense. Because this girl seems to have ruined a lot of them. Um, and then on a different occasion, Hannah said that she remembered that there was a group of friends at the bully's house, and that the bully was like pushing me around on the trampoline. So, like, there was a group of people there at at the bully's house, and she was like focused on me and like pushing me around. So like I was like her punching bag. Um, so like, um, so you're probably wondering, like, geez, like, why didn't your mother do anything about this if this bully was so terrible? So at one point in middle school, my parents were like, this bully is like awful to you, and we think that you need to like distance yourself from her and cut her out of your life. Which, like, as an adult now, like, that's like a very easy thing to do. Like, if you're a mature adult, like, you can very easily cut someone out of your life and not feel terrible about it. Um, but as a child, um, with this girl who gave me so much attention um all the time. Like she was like the only person willing to give me all of her attention all the time. And I was afraid that if I didn't have her, um, I wouldn't have another best friend who was willing to give me all of their attention all the time. So, um, like, I was like, I agreed with them. I was like, I want the bullying to stop, but it was extremely hard for me to be like, I want to get rid of my best friend as well. So they sat down with me and had me call her up and like say to her like, I don't think we should be friends anymore. Um, and this is like me in middle school. I don't remember exactly what age I was. Um, but like I was very, very upset. And she was upset too. Like neither of us really completely understood it because we were young. And we knew that we had this like relationship that sort of worked because we both needed that much attention all the time. Um, so it worked for a little while. And like I obviously like had other friends. Like there was a friend group that I had other friends. But so like it worked for a little while, but then we kind of started slowly going back to our own ways. And like some of my friends would be like, I thought you weren't friends with her anymore. And I would be like, oh, we're not friends anymore, but like we still do the same things together. It's like, so it's like now, um, like if you think of a woman that keeps going back to her toxic ex-boyfriend, like yeah, I broke up with him, but like we still do the same things together sometimes. Like it's like that. Like it's was such a toxic relationship that like I needed that attention like all the time. So I couldn't get rid of her until high school when we went to different high schools, which sounds crazy, but it's true. Um, so how did this affect me in the long run? So for a long time, I was really, really sensitive to criticism. Like someone could say, like, Rachel, like, you got a C on this test. And I would, like, be so upset about it and start crying. Or, like, even at, like, my first jobs, like, I worked with horses and they would be like, Rachel, you didn't clean this stall right, or you didn't clean it fast enough. And I would be so upset. Um, and for a long time I just had no self-esteem, like no self-worth. Like I like thought of myself as like dirt. Like why would anyone want to be my friend? Like I the reason I was able to make friends was because I still needed that attention, but I didn't think I was worth the friendship. Um, and then um, I still have a problem with this. I thought I deserved pain, anguish, any sort of trouble that came my way, and mistreatment. And I still struggle with that to this day because that also happened in the abusive relationship that I had when I was 15. And even like in my child parent relationship, that happened a little bit. So, like, I still struggle with that part. Um, I had very high social anxiety for a long time. Um, I still have trouble in crowds, but I'm also a highly sensitive person. So what that means is that I can feel other people's feelings. Um, so I struggle in crowds because I get overwhelmed very easily, not only by other people's feelings, but by all of the noise, and being so close to other people, um, and um, and that kind of thing. But for a long time, like, having friends over, like, that completely exhausted me, and like I would always have a headache afterwards. And I know that they say like that happens for introverts, that they need to like recharge afterwards. But I was always I I still have this problem. I have a very highly irrational, extreme fear of offending people, which is why today I struggle to make friends because I don't need the attention as much, but I fear, um, I have a fear of offending people. So I just stay away from everyone. So I have like some friends that I'm very close to, but I don't have a lot of friends. Um, and, but now, like, there are some good things that came out of it. So now, like my friend Hannah that I was mentioning earlier, I do have like a very strong sense of justice like her. If something is and like not right, like I want it to be right. Um like in any jobs that I've worked, if I see something that's not right, I'll be like, that's not right. Like, if I see a bully messing with someone else, like, I used to work a camp job, and if I see a bully messing with someone else, I'll be like, you need to not do that. Or if I have a boss that is a bully, like, when I quit the job, I will be like, you are mistreating your employees, that kind of thing. I didn't used to be that way because I had such a high sense of thinking that I deserved mistreatment. But now I like now I've gotten over it enough that I can speak up for others. Not necessarily always for myself, but I can for others now. And I can say now that I'm fairly like thick-skinned as well. Like, sometimes I can be sensitive about certain things, but I can take criticism fairly easily. Like, if someone at work tells me, you're doing this wrong, you need to do it this way, I'll be like, okay, and I won't make the mistake again. I like know exactly how bullies and abusers work, like inside and out, and I can spot one from like miles away. I can spot when someone is lying or evading something very well also, just by their the way that they're acting as well. That's also part of being highly sensitive, though. I guess I'm not really sure if being a highly sensitive person comes from childhood trauma in itself, or if it comes like from birth. I guess I would be interested to find that out, or if it could stem from both. Because I feel like some of my traits that I get as being a highly sensitive person stem from, having experienced, having to deal with the bully. And my instinct to help others is also very strong. Like, I remember even when I was in like elementary school, if there was someone that I felt like was being bullied or not treated right, I would like try to be friends with them and try, like, try to always like make sure they had a friend. And I wasn't always good at it because I, you know, I knew that I was being bullied, and like I didn't want to be at the very bottom of the totem pole, but I for a long time I tried to make sure that everyone like at least below me had a friend. But in no way was I friends with everyone, you know. But today, like, if someone is in need, I can sense it, and I will try to help them if I can, even if that's, saying, "Are you okay today?" And if they don't want to talk, then they don't want to talk, but at least they know that there's someone thinking of them, you know. But so, if you have dealt with a bully in the past, I hope this video has helped you. If you are dealing with a bully right now, you can leave some comments below with some questions. If you know someone that is dealing with a bully, or if you're a parent with a child that is dealing with a bully, you can leave questions below. But I hope this video has helped someone, because that is why I share my story, is to help people. God bless you.